Okay, good afternoon. Tzom Mo'il, meaningful fast. Later on we'll be discussing why we're fasting. What's the purpose of the fast? The shir is Le'ela Nishmas Chaim ben Gedalia. Le'ela Nishmaso. And also the shir is Le'ela Nishmas William and Helen Rochel Bas Yosef, Dov ben Abraham, Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Ruvain ben Shmuel, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Shoshana Bas Elchanan, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Rochel bat Yosef, Eliezer ben Yaakov, Chaim ben Gedalia, Zalman Lei ben Moshe, Chaim Elio ben Yosef Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Gedalia ben Tzvi Ruvain, Leila Nishmatam. I have a double header today in honor of the fast. First we'll be speaking about public shaming, a sin to die for. The story of Yehuda and Tamar, did she do the right thing? Did Tamar do the right thing, willing to die rather than to be exposed who impregnated her and put someone to shame? Is that the halacha? If someone forces you to shame someone in public, or I'll kill you, what is the halacha? We know that the greatest principle in the Torah is v'chai bohem. What does that mean, Elisheva? Staying alive, right? So did she do the right thing or not? Source number one on side number one. Thanks to Elisheva, we all have a paper, I hope. Source number one, side number one. Public shaming, a sin to die for. Source number one, on side number one, Bereshis Perik Lamed Ches. The Torah says Tamar fooled Yehuda into having relations with her, and Yehuda didn't know, right, who she was. She was disguised as a harlot. Very strange situation, very bizarre. We just read the Melech HaMashiach has to come through such a situation, because who is the Mashiach? Ben Partzi. Masha, very strange. Yehuda masqueraded as what? As a harlot, and Yehuda had relations with her, and Mashiach was... who did I say? Yehuda had relations with Tamar. Oh, slicha. I just want to test if you're awake. So, right, so far we're all awake, right, Moshe? So we just read the Haftorah in Isaiah 55, where God says, Kilo mashavoteichem machshavotai. My ways are not your ways, my thoughts are not your thoughts. Very strange that the Melech HaMashiach has to be conceived through what looks to us like an act of promiscuity, immorality. Yehuda and Tamar, Peretz was conceived, and Peretz is what? The ancestor of whom? Of Mashiach, David HaMelech. But anyway, Yehuda condemned her to be burned at the stake. Very strange. Why did he condemn her to be burned at the stake? That she committed adultery, not knowing that he was what? The father. So source number one and side number one, he mitzait. She's being taken out to be burned. Now in Jewish law, you don't burn anybody at the stake. Right? One of the 4 capital punishments is burning, but the body is not burned. You pour hot lead down the throat. It's not like Joan of Arc. But don't try this at home. This is only when you had a Sanhedrin, you had witnesses, right? The problem here is, Moshe, there was no Sanhedrin here, but Yehuda acted extrajudiciary, because he had a din like a melech, and this was like an affront to him that his daughter-in-law would commit harlotry. So even though there was no witnesses and no warning, in the Jewish law you cannot punish anybody without what? But this was an extrajudicial. Harat, Sha'ah, Yehuda had a din like a melech. Someone sins against the king, this was a personal affront to Yehuda, so the king can have the person executed even without witnesses and a warning. It's called Moirid b'malchut. Since Yehuda had a din like a melech, so he condemned her to death, and she was not going to say anything. Why not? source number one and side number one, he mitzayt, she's being taken out to be burned. He shalchal chamia lemor, and she said, remember she took collateral. What did she take? His signet ring and his cord. So she sends to her father-in-law saying, Lo ish ashe'ele lo anochi hara. You know who the father is of my unborn child? The person who belongs to these
things.
Or he belongs, or they belong to him?
They belong to him.
Oh, not he belongs to them. V'atoyme, she said, haker no. Recognize, please. Lemi hachoitemet, who is the signet ring, vaptilim, and the cords, v'amata, and the staff, v'ele. So Yehuda could have kept quiet, right? Very embarrassing. But he fessed up. Moshe, he fessed up, right? So, if what? Let's say he wouldn't have confessed and she would have gone to be burned. Source number two. Talmud Bavli Mesechta Sota. Bereish Lamed Ches. He shalchal chamia lemor. She sent these signs to her father-in-law saying, Le'isha she'ele lo yenochi hara. V'teimele meimar. So the rabbi wondered, Amar Rav Zutra Batuvya Marav, Amalei Rav Chana Bar Bizna, Amar Shimon Chasida, Amalei Rav Yochanan Rav Shimon Yechai. All of these rabbis said, why didn't you just expose him? You hypocrite! How dare you burn me? So from here you learn out, source number two, Noach lo la'adam, sheyapel atzma kivshana eish. It will be better or easier for a person to allow himself to be thrown into what? Fiery furnace, val yal nechver barabim, and not to shame someone, humiliate someone in public. How do we learn that, Moshe? Minalan? Mitamar. So the question this afternoon is, Sheila li'iyun. Ha'im mama zeh nemav derech haflaga v'chasidut? Or shema halacha? Is this actual halacha? Or did she do lifnim mishur sadin? Someone puts a gun to your head and says, worship idols, or commit adultery, or murder somebody, or else I'll kill you. What's the halacha? You have to let yourself be killed, lo yaleinu. Because life wouldn't be worth living to commit those three cardinal sins. But any other sin in the Torah, someone says, eat on Yom Kippur or I'll kill you, or desecrate the Shabbos or I'll kill you. What's the halacha? Staying alive. Staying alive, right? V'chai b'hem, v'lo shomet b'hem. So what about shaming someone in public? That's not one of the big three. And yet, Tamar was willing to die for it. Did she do correctly? And the Talmud seems to say that she did. So is this halacha l'maisa, or is this what? Extra frum. Extra achumra. Right? So that's what we want to find out this afternoon over here. How bad is it to embarrass somebody? Source number 3. You have that, Sonia? The Sefer HaMitzvot, the Rambam's mitzvot. Where's there a mitzvah in the Torah not to embarrass anybody? Source number 3, VaMitzvah Hashin Gimel. The mitzvah 300 and what? 3. He Shezarinu. We are commanded, Shaloi Levayish. Look at, we're not allowed to embarrass anybody. V'zeh avon, and this is a sin, which the Talmud tells us in Avot Peri Gimel, and other places. Someone, Mal Mechor Barabim, if someone humiliates someone publicly, he has no share in the world to come. V'hazara sheba b'zeh. Why? Because when you humiliate someone publicly, it's like you're spilling his blood. He turns colors, red, white. It's like you're spilling his blood. So where is it found in the Torah? Says the Rambam, V'hazara sheba b'zeh amru. There's a pasuk in Kedoshim. Rebuke your friend. When you rebuke him, don't bear a sin. It's a mitzvah to rebuke somebody, but if you do it in a harsh way publicly, then you are committing a terrible sin. Right? You have to rebuke a person in a kind, generous, gentle way if you know to do some good. Maybe you're allowed to rebuke him when his face changes colors publicly. Talmud loymar loitis olav chet. Make sure when you rebuke somebody, you don't embarrass him. When you give someone a rebuke, Moshe has to be between four eyes. When I was a kid, I wore glasses. They called me Four Eyes. I was ashamed. They called me Four Eyes. It hurt. So you want to rebuke someone, make sure that it's done privately, only between you and the person. If you rebuke someone publicly, you humiliate him, you become the sinner. So the Rambam tells us in source number 4, when you rebuke someone, even privately, don't speak to him rough until you embarrass him. The Torah says, when you rebuke, be careful that you don't bear guilt because of that. Maybe you can rebuke him up to the point where his face changes colors. Chaba, you have a sheet? Mikan, see that? Mikan. Sha'asar la'adam, it is forbidden for a person, la'achlim et Yisrael, the koshkein berabim. Here, not to embarrass any person, and certainly not to do it, what? Publicly, even though you mean well. Even you're rebuking him. But if you do it publicly, you become the sinner. You don't get malchus, oven gadolhu. It's a great sin to shame somebody. Kach amru chachamim, says the Rambam, Hamal bechvei barabim, the Mishnah says, anyone that shames someone in public, ein lo chelik l'olam haba. He what? Has no share in the world to come. You can do tshuva. You beg the guy to forgive you. Right? Yom Kippur only helps for sins between what? Man and God. But if you humiliate someone, you hurt someone, Yom Kippur does not help. Ad she'ratzat chaveiro. So if you beg the guy for mechila, you can get your olam haba back. Otherwise, you lose it. Lefikach tzorich adam. Person has to be very careful. Hazer, to be careful. Shlo yavayish chaveiro barabim. Bein koton, bein godol. Whether the person that you are shaming is a big shot or a small fry, it doesn't matter. You're not allowed to shame anybody in public, even if you want to rebuke him. So therefore, Tamar could have said, you're a hypocrite. You're the one that made me pregnant. You're condemning me to death. But she held her tongue because she did not want to humiliate him in public. Right? So we want to know, is this actual halacha or is it a guzma? How do you say guzma in? An exaggeration. And the Rishonim, they debate this. Hami'iri kosav she'enzu halacha, ela haflaga. The Meiri says that this Gemara is not to be taken literally. It's only haflaga. Haflaga means an exaggeration. B'derech tzachut amru, it's an extreme. And therefore, the Talmud says, noach lo la'adam. It doesn't say chayav. Chayav means you're obligated to give your life. It doesn't say chayav. It says noach. What does noach mean? Better, easier. But it doesn't say chayav. It's not one of the big three. And therefore, Tosfot in source number 5, on this Gemara, source number 5, noach la'adam. It is easier a person that he should throw himself into a furnace. In the Gemara, he quotes the Gemara, Kol ha'yordim legehenim olin. Any person after he dies, if he has to go Gehenim, after 12 months, he what? Rises. Chutz mishlosha. Except 3 people don't rise out of hell. And one of them is somebody that humiliates someone barabim. You hear this? Noach lo adam sheyival safek eshes ish. The Gemara says it will be better, incredible, for a person to have relations with a woman that's a safek eshes ish on top of the page, and and not to embarrass somebody publicly. The sin of humiliating someone in public is even more severe than having relations with a Suffolk Eshes Ish. Minolan, Yehuda, how do we know that on top of the page on the left side? Mi David. Because David HaMelech, right? David HaMelech had relations with Bathsheba, right? Even though she had a get. People didn't know she had a get. So she had a get, but people didn't know it.
Because when they go off to war.
They went to war, they would divorce their wives, so they kept taunting David HaMelech that you had relations with a married woman, you're losing your share in Olam Haba. So David HaMelech told them that shaming someone in public, what you're doing to me, is more severe than having relations with an Eshes Ish, a Suffolk Eshes Ish. Wow. Now, on top of the page, Bahadi Gimel Averot. Now we know when your life is in danger, the greatest mitzvah is what? Is to stay alive. But except 3 mitzvot. Which are they? Avodat Kachavim, Gili Arayot, Shvichas Damim. Right? If you have to save your life by worshiping idols or committing adultery or spilling blood, killing somebody, then life wouldn't be worth living. And you can't transgress those. But the rest of the Torah, if your life is in danger, then you're supposed to what? Do it and live. What about shaming someone in public? How come that's not listed among the what? The big 3. Right? Is that Shvichas Damim? But it's not literally Shvichas Damim, Rivka, right? I mean, the person changes, his face changes colors. You're not actually shedding his blood, it's symbolic. So did Tamar do right or she didn't do right? That's our question. Halacha l'maisa, right? Did she do right? Look at source number 6, Yehuda. This is the Rabbeinu Yonah. In source number 6. Kalat avak aretzicha halvanas panim. He says, like you guys said, that shaming someone is a form of ritzicha. Ki panov yechoru v'nos mare adam. Because spilling blood, you shame him, his face changes colors. V'doime ritzicha. It's not really murder, Chava, but it's domeh. What does domeh mean? Similar. T'chein omru chazal bo metzia v'ashenit. So Rabbeinu Yonah seems to take it literally, that Tamar did the right thing. Because shaming someone is like you're murdering him. And he says further, Kitzar Havana Mar Mimoves. Did you know this? The pain of being humiliated in public is even more bitter than what? Than death. Nachum, is that right? Hear what he says?
Rabbi,
What?
she was not a married woman.
She wasn't.
Her husband had died.
We said that. We said that he had a din like a melech. He did extrajudiciary, right?
She was not married.
That we said that.
She was a widow.
We said that. So why did Yehuda condemn her to death? Because Yehuda had a din like a melech, and he felt that it's a morid b'malchus, right? Even though under halacha she was not,
She wasn't married.
right? So she should have confessed, but she didn't want to shame him. But the Shari Tshuva says, Kitzar halvana mar mimovet. Is that true, Elisheva? The anguish of being humiliated in public is even more bitter than death.
No, that's not my question.
I told you, it's
She's a
extra.
widow. She's a widow. She's not a married woman.
I told you, he would marry the Malchus, right? The Mefarshim discussed that Yehuda had a din like a melech, and a melech can punish somebody even if it's not in the Torah.
She was an unmarried woman.
I just said that. A melech can punish anybody who feels that he's a threat to the kingdom. So therefore, Yehuda had a right as a melech to punish her even though she was not a married woman. Okay? A melech has that power.
What was your sin? Any unmarried woman that becomes pregnant, he could punish.
Oh, she had a...
It was his former daughter.
Right, but he had a din like a melech. So a melech feels that if someone is pogeya in the covet of a melech, the melech can punish that person even if it's not in the Torah. Okay? That's what the Rambam tells us in Hilchos Malachim. So anyway.
She was also like a Bas Kohen.
But she wasn't married. A Bas Kohen only was married to Sreifa. And there was no witnesses and there was no warning. Right? So this is a din of a melech who has a right as a moirid b'malchut to condemn someone even if it's not in the Torah. But getting back over here, when a person is killed, it's all over. Right? He's dead, he feels no more pain. But to shame somebody, that shame remains with him for the rest of his life as long as he's alive. So Rabbi Yonah says, in a way, it's even more bitter than what? Than death. Al kein omu chazal, better to throw yourself in a burning oven and don't shame someone.
Sorry, didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that? Should I say it again? Play it again, Sam. Should I play it again?
It is the machine gun. This is the goal.
So Rabbi Yonah says yes. It's one of the big three, Elisheva. Which of the big three is it? Shvichat damim, spilling blood. Okay, spilling blood. But others do not agree. Others do not agree. If you look at source number 7, in the middle, the Maharil, Divrat Tosfot Besota, that what a person that shames someone, the Maharil says it's different. How can you compare it to murder? When you murder somebody, he's not coming back. But when you shame somebody, yeah, he'll get over it. Get over it. Who said, David, get a life? Get a life. Now you're ashamed, you're humiliated, but the real time is, it's not like killing someone. Person that's killed, he's not coming back. But a person that's ashamed, now he feels like what? Dirt. But tomorrow or next month, you'll apologize to him, Masha, and what? He'll feel better. So it's like really spilling blood. So therefore the Maharil does not agree with Rabbi Yonah or with Tosfot, and he said that it's not actually halacha. And to prove it further, nowhere in the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch, we have to go Yehuda by the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. It is David. Nowhere in the Rambam and nowhere in the Shulchan Aruch is it brought down. It's brought down that you have to give your life for the 3 cardinal sins of what? Idolatry, murder, and immorality. But it doesn't say anywhere in the Chama, in the Rambam or the Shulchan Aruch, that a person has to what? Give his life not to shame someone in public. So if the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch do not bring it down, that means it's not halacha. I'm still in source number 7, the last paragraph in source number 7. You have that? You see a friend, lo yaleinu, drowning in a river. Eina chayav latzilo. And you don't know how to swim good. Do you have to put your life in danger to save him if you're not a good swimmer? No. Eina chayav latzilo. If through saving him, you'll go down with him. Right? So just like a person is not obligated to give his life to save somebody else, so he says over here the same thing. A person would not be obligated to let himself be killed, not to shame his friend. Because it's not like committing real murder. A person is not obligated to give his life to save somebody else. So Tamar was not obligated. If the fact is that her life is going to be destroyed, perhaps she should have what? Shamed Yehuda. Did she do correct? Or did she do lifnei mishurat hadin? How do you say that in English? More than the law requires. Okay? So if you turn the page over to side number 2, Side number 2, source number 8. He mitzait v'hi shalcha. She was taken out to be burned, and she sent the simanim, what was it, the signet ring, the cord, and what? And the staff, she sent to her father-in-law. And she said, the guy who owns these, he's the guy that made me pregnant. Ve'elu b'hadya lo yamra. She didn't say meferish that what? It's Yehuda. Ela simanim shal Yehudaim. She should have said perhaps, she didn't say, these belong to Yehuda. V'lo nihara, and he's the one that made me pregnant. She didn't say it. Ella, what did she say? In source number 8, and side number 2. Ella, what did she say? Lo isha she'ele lo anochi hara. The man who belongs to these, or these belong to him, I'm pregnant. Im yodeh yodeh. If he admits, his name is Yehuda. What does Yehuda mean? Fess up. Yehuda means fess up, David. Im yodeh yodeh. If he admits, he admits. Vim la'av, esrof. I'd rather be burned and not to humiliate him in public. So thank God Yehuda admitted. His name means to admit. And therefore Yehuda was the melech, not Yosef. Yosef didn't sin. Yehuda sinned, but he admitted. Modeh. Yes? It means to praise, but it also means to admit. Why is it the same word in Hebrew? To admit and to thank is the same word in Hebrew. Why is that? Moshe, you know Hebrew better than me, I think. Modeh ani lefanecha. Modeh ani means I thank you and I admit to you. So in Hebrew, when you have one word with two meanings, they have to be what? Connected. Why? Because when you thank somebody, Elisheva, you admit that you need him. You're indebted to him. That's difficult. When you thank someone, you admit that I couldn't have done it without you. People don't like to feel indebted to anybody. In Spanish, you know how you say thank you? Gracias. Grace. Grace. In French, merci. Merci. Right? So when you thank someone, you admit that you got mercy from him. Or gracias, that you got grace from him. People don't like that. I need to come on to him. Right? So Yehuda admitted, he fessed up, he confessed, and therefore he was chosen to be the Melech and not Yosef HaTzadik. Why is that? Yosef HaTzadik was a perfect tzaddik. Yehuda sinned, but he was modeh. Yehuda, he confessed, and therefore he was chosen to be the Melech. Why? Better. Tell me, what's better? It's better to be a sinner who repents is better than a goody two-shoes. You know that? Gemara in Brochos Daf Lamed Dalid, the Rambam codifies it in Hilchas Tshuva Chava. The Mokam Shebala Tshuva Omed, Sadigoma Lo Yochal Lamod. In the place in heaven where a repentant sinner stands, a goody two-shoes can't reach there. The question is why? Why? The goody two, he never sinned. And a sinner, Yosef never sinned. Yehuda sinned, he did tshuva, he's greater than Yosef and he becomes the Melech. Madua Balama doesn't seem to be fair, David. Why? So to answer this question, we'll ask another. The Gemara in Yuma, page 86 says, Gedola tshuva ma'ahava. It's appropriate to speak about tshuva this afternoon. Because the Rambam and the Mishnah Brewer say something incredible. We'll talk about it more later. The ikar today is not to fast. Rambam and the Mishnah Berurah says the fasting today is the tofel. What's the ikar? Tshuva. Sharona, you know that? We'll talk about it more later. Hope you don't go away. Mishnah Berurah, quoting the Rambam, says the ikar avoda of a fast day is not a fast day. That's the tofel. How do you say tofel in English?
The extra.
Tofel is the insignificant. The ikar is tshuva.
Hot dog is the tshuva.
Right? And the Rambam and the Mishnah Berurah say if you're only fasting today and not doing tshuva, you're wasting your time. The ikar avoda today is somehow the tshuva. The fasting has to get you to tshuva. We'll speak later on, cliffhanger, what's the connection? Why can't I do tshuva without fasting? So stay tuned. But the ikar avodah, says Rambam, is the tshuva. Somehow the fasting is just a stimulus to do tshuva. So it's very appropriate that we speak about tshuva today, because the purpose of all the fast is what? Not to go on a diet, Rabbi Yaakov, no. Not to go on a diet. It's to do tshuva. Right? And the Rambam and Mishnah Berurah brings down that if you're only fasting today and you're not doing tshuva, you're wasting your time. Now, tshuva consists of 4 steps. Step number 1, azivas hachet, Yiddish early. Physically, we have to physically stop sinning. Separate yourself from the sin. I'm not going into that casino anymore. I'm not going into that discotheque anymore. Physically separate from the sin. Step number 2 is cheshbon hanefesh, charata and busha. Cheshbon hanefesh, which means, I think, soul searching. I'm a soul man. Soul searching. When if you do soul searching, you have charata. What does charata mean? Regret, which leads to busha.
Shame.
Soul searching leads to regret, which leads to shame for the sin. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is vidui b'peh, oral confession. You have to say what you did, even though I know what I did, and God knows what I did. But if you say it out loud, it makes you feel guilty. Good. So next time, perhaps it'll act as a spiritual barrier. I won't do that sin again. If I have to say it out what I did, it makes me feel more guilty. Guilt is good. Who said it's not good? Sigmund Freud? No, guilt is good. Shame is good. Greed is good. Guilt is good. Because without guilt, you can't do tshuva. Without guilt, there's no shame. Without shame, no pain. Who said that? No shame, no pain. So where was I? Step number 3 is vidu, oral confession. And step number 4, kabbalah lahaba. You make a verbal commitment, I'm not going to do that sin again. I can't say I won't sin again. That's impossible. Right? Everybody sins. But I say, that sin I won't do. Yetzer hara, David, you'll have to find a new taiva for me. That sin I graduated. So those are the 4 steps of tshuva, and today is the day to work on them. So where was I? Why is about tshuva greater than a tzaddik gomer? So the Gemara in Yuma, page 86 says, Gedol tshuva ma'ahava shes donot nasa lo kischuyot. Tshuva ma'ahava. You can do tshuva me'yira, tshuva me'ahava. You can do tshuva because you're afraid you'll get whacked. You want a good shidduch. That's also good, right? But there's a higher level, tshuva me'ahava, tshuva because you love Hashem, not for any ulterior motives. Just because you love God. God is so good to me, gives me anything. How could I upset him like that? So you do tshuva me'ahava, the Talmud Yuma says, all of your averot, Rabbi Avraham, become mitzvot. Avil the Metzia. How do you say that in English? Avil the Metzia. How do you say that? Yiddish. If you do tshuva me'ahava, not for any ulterior motives, then all of your averot become what? So therefore, Baal Tshuva is better than a tzaddik gomer, because all of his averot are now transformed, David, to mitzvot. That's pretty amazing. So therefore, Yehuda is greater than Yosef. He sinned, but he confessed, he did tshuva. He had shame, regret, humiliation, vidu v'peh, and therefore he stands what? Higher. Tshuva mehava. You know the story of the Barditcheva. Barditcheva, Levi Yitzchak Barditchev. So it was Erev Yom Kippur, he walks over to the town burglar, a ganef, a burglar, a shikar, and he says, Rabbi, I envy you. Hear this, Moshe? But Levi Yitzchak tells this ganef, this burglar, I envy you. He says, Rebbe, you envy me? I'm low life. You're the biggest tzaddik in the world. He says, I envy you. You have so many averot. If you do tshuva mehava, all of your averot will become what? Mitzvot. So the ganef, the bum, said, Rebbe, give me one more year. So I'll have more averot, I'll have more mitzvot. Give me one more year, Rebbe. But anyway, so where were we over here? So source number 8. You see that, Yehuda? Side number 2, source number 8. He matzeit v'hi shalcha. She's taken out to be burned. She sends to her father-in-law. Source number 8. V'ilo b'hadya lo yamra. She didn't say elu asamanim shel Yehuda. She didn't finger him. V'lo and Yahara. She didn't say you may be pregnant. Elo leisha she'ela lo anochi hana. The man who owns this signet ring and walking stick. Remember Bat Masterson? Fancy walking stick. Remember? I'm pregnant. Im yodeh yodeh. Vimlav esrof. And I will not shame him. Maharil katav. You see that, Yehuda? Source number 8, Maharil. Now the Maharil, the Ramah, who's our posek, Yehuda, gets most of his psak from the Maharil. The chief Ashkenazi posek, Rabbeinu Moshe Israelish, the Ramah, gets most of his halachos from the Maharil. The Maharil Katav, you see that, Chama, source number 8? Paragraph begins Maharil. Maharil Katav, Shetama Hechmir al Atzma. Tomer was a machmir. You know what a machmir means? I'm also a big machmir. I tell my wife, machmedus, in machmedus, in machmedus. Ray, I'm a big machmir. Buddy, you don't like that joke? I'm a big machmir. Ooh, okay. All right. How do you say machmir in Yiddish means make for me, right? I tell my wife, mach me a coffee, mach me a tea. I'm a machmir. If you have to explain the joke, it ain't funny, right? Forget it. Okay. But she was machmir. She was a chumrah. How do you say that in Yiddish? A chumrah. She was more strict. The halacha said that she should have exposed him. Because the greatest mitzvah in the Torah is what? Staying alive, except the big 3. But she was machmir. She went beyond the letter of the law. Dover ze ina pashut, what she did. Kinechlu karishaynim im adam rashai lahoreg kishein din yargayavar. Is a person allowed to give his life for a mitzvah when he's not obligated to? Can you be, it's not my life to throw away. So there's a machlokas here, right? Look at source number 9. The Rambam is source number 9. According to the Rambam, Tamar did wrong. Source number 9. You have a sheet? Rambam Hilchos Torah. Kol mi shenema boy yavor vayhoreg. Your life is in danger. And the Torah says you have to transgress not to die. And he says, this critically ill person, Rabbi Yosef Paskin, for him, you have to eat. For you, it's a mitzvah to eat. The doctor said, if you don't eat, you'll die. He said, Rebbe, I never ate on Yom Kippur. I'm not going to start now. He fasted. He died. Rabbi Yosef said, you can't say Kaddish for him. He's a Rasha. But he's a tzaddik. He said, I'm never ate on Yom Kippur. I'm not going to start now. But if the halacha says that you have to eat on Yom Kippur to stay alive, if you don't, he's considered like he killed himself. And you don't say Kaddish for him. But he wanted to be a hero. You know? So the Rambam says, you're only allowed to die for the 3 cardinal sins. If you give your life for any other Avera, you're throwing your life away, you're considered like you committed suicide. Yiddish? Yeah. So that's the Rambam's opinion. So according to the Rambam, Tamar was not correct. Tosfos, source number 10, argues. Yiddish Yehuda, source number 10, not like the Rambam. See, it says number 10, Loike Rambam. Tosfos says, V'morotza lahachmir al atzmo. If a person wants to be a machmir, he wants to do beyond the letter of the law. Afila b'shar mitzvot, even by other mitzvot. Reshai, he is allowed to do it. Like, he has no food to eat, right, except pig. He's starving. The only food he has is pig. The halacha says what? Eat and stay alive. He says no. So he doesn't eat the pig and he dies. According to the Rambam, he's a sinner. According to Tosfot, Rashai, he is allowed to do it. Yiddish? And Tosfos brings a raya from the Rishalmi. You see that? Koma Rav Abba mi Rishalmi, shoy eitzel oivet kachavim. This rabbi was by a goy. Omaloi achol nevela. The goy put a gun or a sword to the head of the rabbi, and he said, if you don't eat what? Nevela. What is nevela? Non-kosher meat. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. So the rabbi was supposed to eat the non-kosher meat, right? According to halach, it's not one of the big 3. He refused to eat. He refused to eat. Yiddish. He didn't eat it, and he killed him. So Tosfos says he was a machmir. According to the Rambam, he's considered what? A suicide. You can't say Kaddish for him. But Tosfos argues you're permitted. The 3 cardinal sins you have to give your life for. The rest of the Torah you don't have to, but you can be a hero and do beyond the letter of the law. So according to Tosfot, Tamar was permitted to do what she did. What about according to the Rambam? V'tzorech iyun. You know that, source number 10, the last paragraph?
But she did defend herself.
V'tzorech iyun. How, according to the Rambam, Tamar was not allowed to do what she did. She didn't know Yehuda was going to fess up. She was ready to kill herself. So according to the Rambam, she went against halacha. The greatest mitzvah in the Torah, Chanoch, is what?
Staying alive.
Staying alive, staying alive.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since Tamar and Yehuda
Right.
were already kind of related to each other.
Well, he was a mother-in-law, father-in-law, and daughter-in-law.
Right. And,
Right.
And she, and the thing is, she had
She was a widow.
found out-
She was a widow, so she didn't deserve to die, like Shoshana is saying. But Yehuda had a din like a melech.
She had like
A melech, he feel it's an affront to him
This is a different
that a family member would be a runaround Sue.
Okay.
So a king has a right to rule extrajudicial.
Yeah, I understand.
Don't try this at home. Yes.
That's not my question.
What is your question? Spit it out.
Let me see if I can spit it out.
Mm?
Um,
It's a fast. It's hard to spit.
it's very hard.
Mm?
So,
Yeah. My lips are very dry.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
Yeah.
she had a lot of gratitude for him for the 2 husbands she had had,
No.
and from him, his son.
She knew that the Melech HaMashiach has to come from Yehuda or the family. She knew that. How she knew that?
How did she know?
She knew it. Chazal say that she knew
But
that
apparently
Yehuda or one of his sons has to plant the seed of the Messiah in her womb.
Right, and
She knew that.
so,
Maybe she had a dream. She knew it.
and she did defend herself, but not in public. She did,
So according to the Rambam, she should have exposed him publicly if that's what it would take to save her life. And the question is even stronger. On side number 2, you see in the middle of the left column, Yehuda? The Ode. I have it underlined in yellow. They call me Mellow Yellow. You see on the left side, underlined in yellow, Moshe. You want to read that? The Ode. No, Moshe. Iburim. B'meya. Mihitala. Lahargam. Rei ben Noach nera galeburin. It wasn't just Tamar. She knew she was carrying twins. Elisheva, she did an ultrasound that morning. She knew that she's carrying twins.
3 people.
Right. So it's not only her own life, it's also the life of her 2 unborn babies. So she'd be killing not only herself, but her unborn babies. And a ben Noach, it's considered murder to kill a fetus. For a Jew, it's wrong, but it's not murder. But for a ben Noach, nerag alaburin. If a ben Noach performs an abortion, that's considered capital punishment for a ben Noach. So the Ratvaz wonders, what right did she have to destroy 3 lives?
Also, Yehuda would destroy 2 more.
Mm-hmm.
How could Yehuda?
Right? So therefore Yehuda confessed, but Tamar was not permitted perhaps to put herself in such a precarious situation. According to Tosfot, yes. According to the Rambam, no. Halacha l'maisa, Chava, we have to follow the Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. Right? We're Rambam and Shulchan Aruch people. If it's not in the Rambam, it's not in the Shulchan Aruch, then we don't do it. And therefore, if you go back to side number 1, source number 7, the last paragraph. Side number 1, source number 7, the last paragraph. Vihine, you see that? Vihine. What does Hine mean?
here.
Wow. Wow. B'shad Chivit Binyan Tzion, Kasav Lahadye. So this posek writes, Sheyesh Din, Yehoreg Val Yavor, Balvodas Panim. This posek writes that Tamar did right. There is a halacha that a person should rather let himself be killed, not to shame someone, what? The Tamua Ma'od. And this is very shocking. Why is it shocking? Af umulai mashma came but Tosfos holds that. Yiddish Sharona? Tosfos holds that shaming in public is symbolically murder, and Tamar was right. It's symbolic murder. You're killing me softly with words, killing me softly with words, with his words. But Tosfos is not our posek, David. We follow Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam. And the Shulchan Aruch and the Rambam doesn't say anything that you have to give your life rather than shame someone in public. It says you have to give your life for the 3 cardinal sins. But it doesn't mention the Chama anything about what? Giving your life for shaming in public. So therefore, halacha l'maisa, we have to follow Rambam and the Shulchan Aruch. Chanok, there's a double header today. Same price. We have a double header. 2 for the price of 1. So what's the bottom line? The bottom line is that Tamar did lifnei mishura sadin. According to halacha, she was not obligated to destroy her life, and certainly not the lives of her 2 unborn children. Halacha would say no, but she felt to do lifnei mishura sadin. So according to the Rambam, she was wrong, because you can't throw your life away except for the 3 cardinal sins.
But she knew that one of her kids was going to be...
She knew that he was going to fess up. So let's hope that she knew he was going to fess up, right? but she's playing Russian roulette with her life and the life of her unborn babies. Okay? So, and therefore it says Noach la'adam. It doesn't say chayav. The Talmud says Noach. Noach means it will be easier, it will be better, but everyone agrees that you're not obligated. I mean, halacha l'maisa, to do what she did, she went lifnei mishura sadin. So this touches on the question, like this rabbi who a non-Jew forced him to eat treifa meat, or else I'll kill you. Halachically, he was supposed to eat the meat, but yet he felt no. So Tosfos says that he was allowed to do what he did, and the Rambam would say that he would not, because it's not our life. Our lives belong to Hashem.
What if
So-
the in particular want to do, are makpid on us to
Right.
do certain things?
B'shas hashmad.
Yeah.
That's different. Shas hashmad, if it's public, so then you can die for other sins as well. But if it's not public, it's not shas hashmad, then you're only permitted to give your life for the 3 cardinal sins. And again, Rav Yosef Paskin, that this critically ill person, Elisheva, whom he told to eat, and he said, Rabbi, I'm not going to eat on Yom Kippur. I never did. I'm not going to start now. So he fasted against the rabbi's orders and the doctor's order. He died. Rav said, you're not supposed to say Kaddish for him because he's considered a suicide. But he thought he's doing right. He's going to be a hero. Right? It's not our life. It's Hashem is the one who gives life. Only Hashem can decide when to take life. It's not up to us.